Hey guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, then welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are delving into Season 2, Episode 3 of The Expanse, and I don't obviously know too much about this episode, or anything, honestly. I can assume that we're going to pick up where we left off last episode. I know that this episode and the next couple are the end of book 1, I believe, according to the comments. So I'm assuming we're going to get more resolution on certain things, maybe. We haven't, honestly, that I can remember, had like a proper cliffhanger this season yet. So probably one of those, maybe? I don't know. I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. I want to see more of Holden and Naomi and just all of them bonding, and to see what's gonna go on with Christian and to see what's gonna go on with everyone now that Dresden, the scientist guy, has been nixed, you know. Yeah, I don't know why I'm rambling so much before we start this episode. Let's just start the episode and, yeah, delve back into this world. Stealth ships. Oh, fuck. This is gonna be the attack on the Martian.
All 17 people in the station were killed instantly. The massive explosions.
I always knew Earth would strike first. Right, Arthur?
What do you call me?
Oh, you heard me.
Not today! You hear me, soldier? I will not have you disrespecting a fellow Martian. He's got as much dust in his blood as the rest of us. Suit up. We need to train. War is coming.
I really like her.
Can you imagine what it would be like to lose the moon? Our moon. To never see it in the night sky again.
It's not the same.
Be horrifying.
From Mars.
I mean, it would
It's
fuck
just
Earth.
a dot.
We have enough ships to shoot theirs down. We could knock Mars out of our sky for good.
Why?
Thanks to that.
You shouldn't even be on this station!
Hey, it's something you need to get off your chest there?
Stop here!
I'm honestly surprised that he's that upset. Amos?
Here's so I'm dipped in shit right now. Oh no. This shit is permanent. Captain doesn't want you around anymore. We don't want you around either. For what it's worth, I get it. He killed your girl and you shot him.
Yeah.
The captain always gets a little jumpy when you kill people without talking it over first. Yeah, I'm sure you would have asked for permission too.
No.
But the captain, well, he's as close to righteous as it gets out here. So when you says you're out, that's just how it is. Because the way I figure, he's probably right. Sure as hell has a better chance of being right than I do.
I like Amos standing up for Holden, though.
And since Fred's picking up the tab until the roast is Liverpool, I figured we'd order a lot of room service.
That's so cute.
Miller just...
He got you out of Eros alive.
He shot an unarmed man right in the head.
An unarmed mass murderer.
Yeah. He killed 100,000 people.
The only thing he was out for was revenge.
No, he cared about all of us.
We had Dresden. He was gonna talk. We could have used him.
We could have what? Worked out a deal with a man who casually murdered countless Belters.
Yeah.
A man who was a threat to all human life. And that is why Miller shot him.
He didn't have the right to make that decision.
But you do.
I like Holden, but I'm with Naomi on this one.
Stay with me. You want a bus now?
He literally can't escape from them.
Multiple. I see you're from some rock. Care to put the ball to the wall? Pashang ya.
We got ID scans for the whole lot of them. The last 2 years are completely blank for everyone. But before that, they all work for the same company, Protogen. It's an Earth-based biotech contractor with facilities throughout the system. including the one destroyed on Phoebe. Get in there.
Your hometown's only named after you because your family infested it like some hyper-breeding rats.
Well, we need more real dust-eating Martians. Too many Earthers as it is.
I see the way y'all look at me, like I don't belong here.
No one's questioning your patriotism.
Simmer down there, cowpoke.
You know something? I earned my iron, Hilly. Your family just bought your way into the core.
That's enough.
Go fetch.
We need you to make a vaccine.
Why would I want to do that?
Why would you not? I don't under... Is he shaving his hair? I'm a bit worried about his mental state, the fact that he keeps seeing her. Different ways that they are coping with what happened. It's kind of cool to see.
A secure channel to Fred Johnson. Yes.
Give it to me, please.
Right now, this is just a bad idea. But you hit send, and it's treason.
If I do nothing, millions could die. Colonel Johnson, I'm Christian Avasarala. There are people in my government who are willing to take us to the brink of annihilation for reasons that I still cannot fathom. I want to stop this war. I'm asking you for help. I need evidence. Anything I can use to turn the guns of Earth and Mars away from each other.
Hopefully he
I never thought I'd see the day.
he trusts it.
Think this is for real?
Yes.
Yes. I think I got something she can use.
What? Why is this guy acting so weird though if all that's been taken away from him is his ability to empathize with other people?
I was on Eros. I saw Julie Mao.
What does Amos want to get out of this?
And there she was. Naked as Eve. Dead.
Beautiful.
Beautifully dead.
Not dead. Becoming. The barnacles? An expression of pattern matching systems. And at the very center, a particle nothing leads to, like a seed crystal that requires and provides a massive amount of energy.
That's why she smashed the lights and the screens.
He's just
She's trying to take away his power.
he's
source.
sympathizing, connecting with him to get information. So he just gave himself like a mohawk. I can dig it.
You ever talk to a pedophile?
What?
We try to ask them stuff, and they're not gonna just talk about raping little kids, but if you show them pictures of kids, then they'll go on and on and on. And Eros is his pedophilia.
Amos's logic makes sense.
So you feted Eros, a whole station, 100,000 people. 100,000 opportunities. We can only learn by letting it learn. Can it be controlled? That's what we were trying to
That
do.
what Dresden said.
Can you control it? I'd need my data and everything coming off Eros. That's the only way I can tell you more.
I don't think he can control it.
Some felt that taking entire families on a journey that their grandchildren wouldn't see the end of was inhuman.
Well, I seen inhuman and
This ain't it.
This is our temple. You're welcome here.
The universe just kissed me on the cheek. Are those people talking?
Not people. Pulses. Steady like a clock.
No.
Speeding up.
No.
Counting down.
Counting down to what?
Building. Something.
Building what?
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
How?
25 people on that pod we lost. It's my job to protect them.
You saved Amos.
And we lost 25 people because I made that choice. Next time I'm gonna save them all.
You can't save everyone.
Again.
Proto-molecules building something and we don't know what. There are words, the data stream, voices.
People talking. But we saw what happened to Julie Mao. Are you saying those people are still alive?
The only person who can answer that is dead. The Eros isn't over yet.
Not the
I don't think we can save it.
only.
But I do know we need to do something. And I know I can't do it without you.
That is cute.
We'll do it together.
It's a peace offering. Good, she's being nice too.
I take it this means you know where you want to go?
Eros,
What?
something real bad is going on down there.
Yeah, we know.
And you know we have to destroy it. I know that you know that Dresden was gonna get away with it. And I didn't kill him because he's crazy. I killed him because he was making sense.
Any idea how we can take out a whole asteroid?
Yeah. With that.
The Nauvoo. Am I way off base? That was a really good episode. I think it felt like I don't want to say filler because there's a negative connotation with the word filler episode, right? Or with the words, the idea of a filler episode. So it was more like an episode that advanced the plot in a less actiony way, right? So it was a lot of talking, a lot of getting to know things, putting pieces in place, putting players where they're supposed to be when whatever happens, right? And personally, I've always really loved those kinds of episodes because I love it when a show slows down a bit, when I get to spend more time with characters to see the way they cope with things that have happened and are happening. And you just get a little bit more insight into characters, I think, in these kinds of episodes, like we did with Miller, Holden, Naomi, Amos, Alex, like all of the characters that we kind of know and love and care about, we got to see a bit more of in this episode and got to understand a bit more, if not in what they were saying and what they were doing, right? Like Naomi, for instance, we got to see the way that she copes with a situation like this, right? And it's very different from the way that Miller copes and that Amos copes and that Holden copes, right? Which caused a little bit of tension for Naomi and Holden because, and of course, like I said in the reaction, which I'm pretty sure I included, I don't know, but I agree with Naomi in this instance, right? Naomi and Holden were having their sort of cute little couple moment, and then Holden started the conversation, I think, and Naomi responded. And I figured that Holden would be mad at Miller, but I thought that he would be able to understand why Miller did this, right? Because it was so obvious to me that that's what Miller was going to do. And I mean, granted, of course, we know as an audience Miller a lot more than these characters know Miller. And again, I understand because it was detrimental to finding out what's going on to kill Dresden. But it was also like, am I gonna mourn for this guy who killed 100,000 people and didn't give a fuck about it? I don't know. Like I said, I just kind of agreed with Naomi in that scene. But it was interesting to see, obviously Holden's way of coping with it is much more, he needs to figure out a way that they can help going forward. He has to make it right? That's kind of Holden's way of coping. I'm sorry, y'all, there's a squeaky toy, because my cat, I say this every reaction, but my cats just wait until I do one of these things to go crazy. We saw Alex's way of coping is to, I don't want to say go a little bit crazy because that's not really what's happening. He's fixating on this one thing, right? Because he's like, next time I'm going to save everyone, which is usually an impossible task, right? You can't save everyone. You can try and save everyone, but there's usually going to be some casualties. Alex will hopefully realize, that you can't save everyone. You can try as hard as you can to save as many as you can, but that's kind of all you can do at the end of the day. Amos just wants answers because, he's just trying to do whatever he can do to figure out what they're trying to figure out, right? And Naomi obviously is just letting it all go. She's having fun. She's just letting all of her emotions out in different ways with the activity with that girl, with the dancing and the club, that's kind of how she's letting it all out. And Miller, I don't know, he shaved his head, he accepted himself as a belter, and now he's redoubling his focus on Eros, as we saw at the end, to try to destroy it. So I think that's healthy. I mean, we've definitely already seen Miller cope in way more unhealthy ways than this, so it's a step in the right direction, kind of. I don't know. The next thing I want to talk about is that we learned that the Martians train in 1G, the Martian Marines, and that is the gravity on Earth, I believe they said. So, as Christian was saying, they're not training in order to have a fight outside of Earth. They're training to have a fight on Earth. Whenever they go to war with Earth, they're going to Earth to take the war to them. So that makes them even more dangerous. Obviously, Aaron Wright, I think is his name, isn't going to listen, and he's just being stupid because of his ties to Mao and the project and everything like that. So, I don't know. We're just going to have to see where that goes. We're going to have to see what happens with the Martian Marines, how long the Martians are going to be willing to keep stepping back from this war with Earth, because if the conversations with Gunny and that guy are any indication, then there's definitely a difference of opinion in how they should deal with Earth and what is a cause to start a war. And I mean, I kind of totally understand, because if I'm Mars and they are attacking our moon completely unprovoked, at least to me it seems completely unprovoked, like why would that not be an inciting a war, you know? Why would that not be an invitation to start a war, you know? So yeah, we're gonna have to see where that goes. I think it's interesting to see the Earthers Martian Belter debate and like all of the interesting prejudices and hatred that exists therein. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but Naomi and Holden, I really liked the scene that they had together, and I liked Holden saying something along the lines of he didn't have the right to make that choice, right? Talking about Miller shooting Dresden, and Naomi coming back with, and you do, which is, it's a valid question, you know? Like, if he doesn't have the right to make that choice, then why do you have the right to make that choice? If he doesn't have the right to kill him, why do you have the right to keep him alive? I don't know, I just agreed with Naomi in that scene, like I said before. I still like Holden, obviously, and I appreciate his dedication to doing what is right, but at the same time, it's like, what sort of protection does this person who killed this many people deserve? Although, speaking of that, I also liked the scene with Miller and Amos at the bar, and Amos is saying all that stuff about Holden, right? And he's saying, like, I am not the best person to ask because, like, I understand why you did it. Like, yeah, of course, why not? But I don't have the moral compass that Holden has. So if you're going to ask me, was it right or wrong? Like, Holden probably would be able to ascertain that better than I would. Which, I don't know, I love how self-aware that was of Amos, and I love how complimentary towards Holden it was. Like, I just like my crew being crew and like kind of standing up for each other and stuff. And I liked Amos being like, it's what the captain said, you know? Like, we just gotta do what the captain says, you know? We had an interesting scene with the guy that was connected to the thing. One of the only surviving people that could tell them about the protomolecule, right? We had an interesting sort of conversation with that guy, and we learned that they had done something to these people where I think they said it was like a magnet that could somehow alter the brain in a way that affected the temporal lobe and essentially erased the part of the temporal lobe that is connected to empathy and giving a shit about other people, right? So they basically just erased that part in order for them to just act on strict logic and rationale and not emotion at all. So then those people would be willing to kill 100,000 people because they don't have any sort of ability to see them as human and feel that they're human and understand the moral implications of doing something like that, right? Which is really interesting. And apparently it can't be reversed either, which makes sense because when you mess with the brain, it's a very, very tricky thing. My question is, did Dresden do the same thing to himself? Did Julie Mao's dad have that? Or did they still have that ability? Which Julie Mao's dad seems to, because he was crying about her. In which case, why were they willing to sacrifice 100,000 people? You know? It makes sense when you don't have any sort of empathetic response for other people. But if you still do, like, holy fuck, you're just evil, right? Real quick, I want to say that I'm a little bit worried about Miller's state of mind when he keeps seeing Julie. Although I think it could just be kind of a metaphor, like she's his guiding light, she's his saving grace, she's helping him to figure out what he needs to do. I think that he's not actually seeing her, like hallucinating her. But I don't know. It does make me a little tiny bit worried about Miller. I really liked the way that Amos went about getting the information from the scientist guy. It's like a interrogation technique, right? To create a rapport with the person that you're interrogating, make them feel like you understand their point of view, like this horrific thing that they've done or want to do isn't so horrific, and you can see it from their point of view, and you also don't see it that way, right? So I really liked that aspect of it, and I liked his explanation of it. I wonder if Miller and Fred Johnson wanting to destroy Eros, and Holden and Amos and them wanting to find out information from it is going to cause any sort of clashing with those two kind of little groups and cause a further rift there, because I don't know. I think that we should find out more about this, but at the same time, if we can just completely destroy it, do we need to find out more about it? Shouldn't we just take it out? It's a threat. Although at the same time, it's like, to what level does this blue goo have any sort of sentience or consciousness or ability to understand what it's doing? So the last thing I think I want to talk about is Christian sent her message to Fred Johnson. She told him, and he believed her, thank goodness, that she just wanted evidence that could stop this war from happening. She doesn't want war. She wants to stop it. And he sent her something back about a stealth ship, the location of a stealth ship. So we're going to have to see what's going on there. Did I have anything else to say? I'm looking at my notes. I don't think so. So, yeah. I think that's it. As always, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I don't know what else to say. So until next time. Bye, guys.